smack down. Nothing but a G thing. Oh, it's on at the break of dawn. They call it Long Beach. Better like this, that, and this, and it's like that, and like this, and like that, and it's like this. Oh, there's old Snoop Dogg. Dre and Snoop. Man, we're back into what? This is Ted Russ coming at you again. Sex, religion, and politics, and whatever we want to talk about. That was Dr. Dre with Snoop there in the background. Two of the best rappers I've ever known. Snoop is actually my favorite of all. Tone Loc would rank second, because he's the first rapper that kind of rapped and had, what would we call it, non-violent lyrics. I mean, funny lyrics mainly, Funky Cold Medina, you remember that one, Wild Thing, looked up, it was your mother, and don't worry, it's something about I used to be just like you, I'd like to do the wild thing. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to torch up a little weed here, just to be consistent here. Can't have good conversation unless you're, able to really think straight. For those that don't know about marijuana, came from a different country, and you've heard all this propaganda. It's it'll make you crazy and whatnot. No. Elon Musk, he used it. Joe Rogan used it. These are Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, all these guys like this. These are very successful folks, guys and girls alike, that smoke weed because it helps them create. Let's say create. That's what I use it for. I like to, if you're going to talk about a subject, then let's get stoned first, right? Mine here, I'm only going to take 2 tokes. Not very big ones either, because I had 2 more before. This is the infused stuff, infused with wax or whatever, the resin. Give me a drink of water. Coughing can start too. So our topic of the day was one I was thinking about a while back. When we hear things, excuse me, the term women's liberation. Okay, this is a term used when I was a child in the 60s and 70s. And it was more like, we already know, women had won, right? World War II, they went into the factories and built all the machinery, proving that, they don't need men, right? They can have a factory job and, do what you want. Women's and nobody ever held them back from that, right? There was no discrimination during wartime. It's like, do you think you could run a lathe like that? And the girl said, show me how to do it, and I'll do it. Okay, I'll do that. And you'd have one of the best lathe operators ever. So, women won on that front before that. And then when they came to women's liberation, it was when my take on it was, what was talked about a lot, was the birth control pill. And that this hippie movement was coming about, where women wanted to be as free as men, okay? So basically think late 60s, early 70s. Basically, I was but a kid, okay? So I saw these hippies over at the hippie house, we called it. Well, it was just a big old house where a bunch of hippies lived. And the situation was, back in those days, you could work like, 2 days a week, and you could and still have plenty of money if you're living in a communal. These are the first, what we call communist, or living as a group. Not really a particular religion or anything, just the hippie mentality was that we're all brothers and sisters. Let's get together and share everything. And when I say everything, I mean they were sharing everything. And that's where women came out and said, hey, I want to be able to take birth control and have sex as much as I want. And I don't want any man to, ever put me down for it. Well, look, we never was putting you down for it. I wasn't, most men weren't. It was the propaganda at the time that was putting everybody down and twisting things around. Because when women first got liberated, the first thing they did was they burned their bras. Take your bras off, get rid of those things. And now we got all these nipples popping out of the t-shirts and whatnot. Okay? Now, do you know any men that are going to be opposed to that? Hell no. We were all for it, but that was not going to work. The hippie movement, nipples sticking out and group sex and all these things like this were going on. People were having a little too much fun smoking weed. Okay? Weed is not bad for you. It's probably healthy for you. I would recommend everybody try it, at least, and I don't mean once, try it once. You have to try it at least 6 or 8 times to ever feel a real buzz. And then you'll know. Matter of fact, I'll do a show on that. So that if you want to smoke for your first time, you can watch my show while you're smoking. Maybe I'll play some music. I can only play 20 seconds for YouTube bust me up for some Google rights violations. Hell, I'm liable to have the Italian mafia banging on my door. This is ASCAP. We're going to come in here to bust some kneecaps. I'm like, whoa, dude, I didn't mean to take more than 20 seconds. Because that's a rule now, 20 seconds. So that you can do a rap song, you can, like they do, dun, dun, and just keep repeating. You only clipping a few seconds out, and then just keep rolling it over. And and then you just do some light rap on top of whatever was there before. Sometimes you don't even remove the vocals off of the old track. I keep hearing that one that is running. My coffee is done cold. Thank You's the name of the song, but I think there's been a rapper that took a portion of that song and did his thing with it. I can't remember who that is now. Yeah, at any rate. So, let's go back to where we were at. We were talking about boobs, nipples sticking out of t-shirts, and America getting close to where we're on the right path. We're looking at the right path. Okay, hippie life. This is the only way you're going to be happy in life, is if we get together and we start sharing things. And sharing doesn't mean everybody's going to be wealthy and have a gigantic mansion and great big yacht on the nearest lake. It's not like that. It's just about security is what it is. We'll be doing the same types of work. We're going to bring manufacturing is going to have to come back to our country. We're on a totally unsustainable path with this, everything built in other countries. It won't work, guys. It won't work. We need to get back on the path of having jobs for people, paying extremely well, and which will basically bring in tax revenue and will get rid of all the welfare programs we've got. We've got a ton in this country. We've got a welfare state built around Yeah, giving people just a tad bit of income, but not really letting them have fun or succeed. It takes a certain amount of money to have fun, especially as you get older. It takes more money as you get older to have fun. But still, regardless, fun can be had. It's just a bit harder to find at that time as you get older. So, what I would say, here's what I think happened. Things changed dramatically in 1980. Most people who lived through it, they realized how it changed, but it didn't look like tremendous change at the time. It's just like you read all the news articles from back then, you'd see a pattern from then until now, a pattern. You know, Reagan, he was the first actor, as Trump is, that he's the last actor we're going to hire. Okay, Trump compares himself to Reagan. Yeah, pretty much the same. I'm going to close your factories. I'm going to ship your jobs over to another country. And in Reagan's case, I don't even think he increased immigration much. But Trump, he's out there getting H-1B visas for people to make the beds in his hotels. I'm like, that's not what H-1B was originally intended for, to displace American workers here at home. You know, that's not right. And so anyway, they knew wages were going to be flattening out. This plan was put in place, well, quite some time before. You know, the 70s, the hippie movement, we were just moving in the right direction. Hey, you know, the 60s, we got the Civil Rights Act, you know, where the blacks and the whites actually had a chance of getting along. The hippie movement came along. It's like, yeah, there were black hippies. It's a mentality. It has nothing to do with race or upbringing or what kind of a family you came from. It's about the mentality. We're in this thing together, and so let's get along like brothers and sisters, or like brothers and sisters used to, maybe. Anyway, they knew wages were going to flatten out. So what they started telling women, as soon as the bras came off, we started getting rid of that. See, in movies, you can always see movies made in 78 or 80 or 82, even up to 82, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Remember what they're showing there, okay? They're showing sexually active girls that are still in high school banging a guy that's saying he's 25 years old. Remember, in the dugout down there, okay? Nipples showing through on these girls while they're in high school. And, you know, and then we became prudes. Reagan's power and grip started tightening down. We went after marijuana. We threw it in the category with methamphetamines and heroin and all the hard drugs. We put marijuana in there and attacked it. And, you know, we just went, yeah, and then we went on this kind of religious crusade of, you know, we attacking, this is back in the days of, what's his name? Larry Flint, the hustler guy. He was just right over there in Cincinnati. He was from Kentucky, wanting to sell his porn rag over there. And, you know, he was still having to fight just for his rights to publish a magazine and sell it to other adults. Can you imagine how backward that sounds today, you know? So, anyway, that's where we were at, and they knew that these wages are going to get flat, and we're going to have to tell these girls that they need to get out and work. You know, they don't want to be slaves to their husband. You know, they want to have the right to, you know, you got a right to have a family and a husband and a career. Well, you know, really the career became, you know, part-time job at the Dollar General stocking shelves. That's all it became. It became what they predicted, and they knew ahead of time. Eventually, it was going to take two people working, especially if you're at the lower end, and because they knew compressed, you know, it's not just flattening wage growth, but it's also compressing at the same time. So the worst of both worlds. So they knew that girls were not going to have much chance out in the marketplace, just like men. Men weren't getting much chance either. But they thought better prepare them. You know, you can have a family, you can have your career, so to speak, and do it. And some girls did career path, and they did very well. That's great. You know, that's fine. It's just the people that got caught kind of at the bottom, the ones I'm thinking of are maybe some of my friends where the wives went out to work, and they really did great in business. You know, one of my friend's wives is, she'd been like the office manager of this place, which is a decent sized insurance place, for years. And so she's done very well and raised a family and did a very good job at it. It's the people down a little lower, little bit lower, could keep going down. Yeah, when you get down to minimum wage, if your husband is let's say your husband's in construction field, yeah, it's good money, right? Let's say out in Indiana, 15, 20 bucks an hour, maybe something like that, 15, 20 an hour. And then your wife can go out to, well, I know for sure Walmart pays 15 out there. So combined, you got an income of $30 or $35 an hour. It sounds like a lot right now, but once you start cutting out payments and, you know, rent and utilities and car payments and insurance and all that, it disappears really quickly. And the reason is because wages have stagnated while prices have not. Prices have not went up as much as they would have if wages would have went up, but we would have still been better off under the old system. And when I say the old system, all I'm talking about is historical data from 1880 until 1990. Okay, we had a slope on that wage growth. It was just constant. And the minimum wage, it followed right with it. When I talk about compressed wages, yeah, that's what's the big killer. You can go out at minimum wage in California here. If you want to go in fast food, you're going to make 20 bucks an hour. All right? But if you want to learn how to weld and do something like that, and you're going to go out and get a job as a welder, I don't know if you'd make 20, maybe 21, 22. There's no wage growth. There's no wage steps like there used to be. Used to be it was about a 4 to 5 to 1. That is, whatever minimum wage was, there's somebody nearby working, making 5 times that. Just how off base we are here in America. And because of that, they knew this was all coming down the road. That's why they started telling women, women's lib, don't be a slave to the kitchen. Get out and work. You can work and raise a family. Yeah, they're telling them not to encourage them to do something cool. They're encouraging them because they know it's something they better get used to, because the next generation will have less opportunity and more hours of work. Both husband and wife will have to work more hours for less money. So that's what we're talking about. So you can put in your pipe and smoke. We are all in the same boat, right? It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, or you identify as a whatever, a bisexual leopard. It doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat. whether it's race or religion or anything. We're here, we're together, and we need to get along better. First of all, we need to realize that, yeah, women made a lot of progress coming up through the 70s, but that progress has been, I mean, because we've almost everybody's become a wage slave of sorts. So it's a lot different now than it used to be, and it affected everybody. So remember, don't trust your government. They're up to some no good shit, okay? Peace out. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna make another video here in just a little bit. Take care.